Hello again, parents and families. This video has three purposes. The first is to introduce a voice recorder in case you're interested in recording your student reading or anything. The next purpose is to show you how to create a favorites for your Hello ID apps. And the last purpose is to talk about and look at Google Classroom and discuss all of the new and wonderful options that come with using Google Classroom. All right, so let's get started. So here you can see the Audacity app that I'm kind of twirling around a little bit. It is really fun and easy to use. So all you have to do, if you're interested, is hit record and then have your student say something or read a book. And then as soon as they're done, you just hit the stop button. Then you go to File, Export, and you can create it into an MP3 and save it under whatever name and file you would like. And MP3s are really nice because they are easy to transport. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is organizing your apps in Google. So here you can see that I'm signed in and you can see all of the mini apps that we don't use. So to create favorites, you just have to go to the star and click it at the top of the app and it will add it to your favorites, which you can see here. So now let's talk about Google Classroom. So there is a Google Classroom app, which you can see on this page. I usually go through Google Apps just because sometimes Google Classroom doesn't always work the way I want it to. If you do that, you go to the grid at the top right of the screen, and then you just click on Google Classroom. Now, ta-da-da! So excited to show you all of this. This page can look a little bit overwhelming, but because there's lots of classes. But the main class that we are going to be looking at is this one, the Informational Class. So if you click on this one, this is our go-to classroom. And if we click here, you can see that in the top is always going to be our grid of the week. So we've already posted next week's grid in here. So we can access all of our grid activities right here. So if you click on it, what's really cool is that we have, once it loads, we have linked all of the online assignments to a Google Classroom assignment. So normally you'd have to go into a classroom. The page gets really long, so I'd recommend going to classwork and you have to find the activity, but here you can just click on the activity, then click on the link, and it brings you right to the page. So as you can see, there's the videos are right here, there's an activity to do, there's lots of stuff on this page, and it's really, really exciting. So if you click on a video, this is another awesome thing, is it doesn't take you to YouTube. It just pulls up the video right here, which is a lot safer and really cool. You can watch one video, you can watch two, and then there's a personal assignment. So some of our assignments will have these personal assignments. And that means that if your kid edits the assignment, it doesn't change it for anyone but them. At the end of the phonics videos, I was very awkwardly holding up these stories. So now as you can see, they are downloaded in here, which will make them easier to read and to read over and over again if kids would like to. Now you'll notice I haven't pushed the present button. I do not recommend doing this because if they do the editable pages, they don't work in presentation mode. So here's the editable page at the end of the document. It's like our journal that we do every week. It's got the sounds on this page, and on the second page, it has some sight word practice. You can click the voice recorder and they can hear me giving them instructions. Now, for some of us, writing in here might be a little intimidating, so please feel free to not use this. You can do it on paper, you can just talk about it. You could just read the story, and it will totally count as part of the activity. So don't stress about having to teach your kids typing or typing it in yourself after they've done it on paper. If you don't want to do this part, please don't feel like you have to do this part. The stories are the most important piece. So you can do these pages or not do these pages. There's always going to be 2 stories with the editable pages at the end. Again, don't stress, do what you can do, and just make sure it works for your family. So when you're done, you can click out, and this is the coolest part for teachers and parents. There is this beautiful turn in button right here, and when you click that, it turns it into the teacher. It's all in one space for us, and you don't have to do anything else. Now, this button here, if you really want to connect with us, you can attach a picture, a file. You could do a document or a drawing and just say, hey, we did this, cool, or not do that at all. But there's lots of options here if you are interested in doing something, or if there is an activity where one of these options would make sense to you. So again, there's 3 different pieces of this. Turn in whatever you do and your kid will get credit. Now let's look at another activity that looks a little bit different. So our math activity for next week is just going onto iReady, which is really nice because it counts as your daily practice. Then you just mark it as done because there's nothing else to do but the practice on iReady. When you mark it as done, it sends it to us in one nice location. So we've linked all of the online options, even PE, health, and music. So if you look at PE, it's the same links as on the main page. You go to it, do your thing, mark it as done, send it in, and you're solid. Mark as done. What a great button. Again, if you want to say something to us or add a picture or do something cute, feel free. Look around. Do what you want to do. So we haven't linked the offline options, but that is an option. Now let's say that your student is really interested in doing some more work outside of the grid. Let's say they just love math. That's where these classes come in. So you can go to math class. This stream is going to get really long. So what I recommend is going to classwork. It's organized by categories and by subjects, and you can ignore the grid activities because you've already done them, and they can decide what they want to do. So let's say they want to do intro to data collection. You click on it, you hit view assignment, and then this is another type of interactive activity. They have their own again, so they can edit it as they want and it won't affect anybody else. So I want to show you this because it's a little bit different. So again, they have the audio. So in this one, I'm actually teaching a lesson through each slide, giving vocabulary definitions, and giving them an example of what I want them to do on the next 2 slides. On this side, they count. How many kids are wearing buttons? 6 kids. Then they go to this side and they can actually move the buttons into the box. So they would put 6 buttons in there. Again, not in present mode. Don't do it. And then they would click back and count how many kids are not wearing buttons, and then move the not symbol into the second box. So that's another example, and then you just hit turn in, and it tells us that they turned it in. The nice part about this is because it's outside of the grid, and if you've already done the grid work, it would count as another participation and attendance. So that's kind of fun. To give you other ideas, reading, we're working on some advanced reading comprehension. We have books for kids to read to you, which is really nice. It's videos with no audio. So if your kid wanted to read Bath Time for Biscuit, you would click on the video, read it, mark as done, and again, another mark for you guys that you did something cool. And kids love to read these books. They are all their AR books from my classroom. So that's where these other classes come into play. So if the offline options, if you're choosing them, but you still have a computer and you would like us to link these offline options to a classroom so that you can still turn it in online, please let us know, because that is something we can definitely add. and it would be no problem. We would just link it to a classroom, and when your kid did it, you could just hit turn in. We can definitely do that for you, and we would love to do that for you because that's easier for us as well. So again, this is your main page. Don't stress about the rest. There's also information on here from the district, frequently asked questions, the Meals on Wheels. They're starting to drive around meals now, which is nice. And even the Voice of the Beaver announcements will be put here, but we will always make sure that the weekly grid is right at the top of the page for you. So that was pretty much all I had. Our biggest concern with rolling this out is glitches, any errors. If something is not working for you or your child, please let us know right away. We want to fix it. We want to help you, and we are here to do that for you. If you have any concerns, if something's not working, if you have a suggestion, please let us know, and we will be more than happy to talk about it, consider it, fix it, add it, whatever we need to do. Hopefully this will streamline everything. This is Mrs. Hayes with another informational video. Signing off. We love you. We miss you. Have a great night.